Now let's switch to the product to see how we can configure the case stage to meet these requirements. Here we are in the Stage Designer with all the stages and processes identified for a case. Some of the stage configurations can be done directly in the Stage Designer. The Edit Stages button allows us to rename the stage names for all the stages. To make configurations on a specific stage, we hover over the stage name, which displays the arrow, and then click the arrow to open the menu. In the menu, we select Configure Stage Behaviors to open the dialog that allows us to make various configuration options that we can apply on a case stage. The first field we see here is the stage name. We can change it to a different name if we want. The Stage Entry Validation field references a validate rule, and when used, the stage cannot be started unless the validate rule is successful. The next field allows us to conditionally skip the stage. In the requirements we saw before, we have to skip the stage if the case details were supplied by an external system. To configure this, we can reference a when rule in this field, which checks if the case details exist. If the when condition returns true, the stage is skipped. The resolution stage field is the one which helps in identifying a resolution stage. This is set to no, since this is the first stage. Let's go back to the Stage Designer to see the configuration on a resolution stage. The resolution stages are the ones that are underlined in red. Here are 3 of them: closure, rejection, and withdrawal. The stage name indicate how this stage is reached. Closure means the purchase request is approved and fulfilled by the purchase order, so the case can be closed as complete. Rejection means the purchase request is rejected by an approver, and withdrawal means the requester withdrew the purchase request. Let's open one of them. Notice the field is set to yes. If we switch the selection to no, another entry appears which asks us to make a selection on what to do after the stage is completed. All stages other than resolution stages require us to configure where the case should go after the stage is completed. When all the processes of a stage are completed, the case moves to the next stage by default. As we saw in the requirements earlier, we want the navigation from the approval stage to be based on the approval decision. Let's start by making the case stop at this stage and not move to the next stage automatically. Notice now that the stage does not have the arrow going from approved to procurement. When this field is enabled, the processing stops at this stage and it becomes our responsibility to make sure that the case moves to other stages. We will learn about configuring the jump to a stage in a later lesson. When configuring stages, we can also add an optional process which uses a flow rule, or an optional action, which is a flow action rule. We will learn about optional actions in this lesson, and we will learn about the optional process in a later lesson.